The Penguin, episode 6, Gold Summit. And it's your boy Icon with a DC television review for you, going over that Penguin. And before we get started, hit that notification bell, like and subscribe to my channel. Check out all my other videos because it's a great watch because we got a lot of great stuff coming up, going on, and everything in between. So, in this particular episode of The Penguin, it's actually some time has gone by because in the last episode we saw that Vic and Oz, like I gotta get used to calling him Oz, Vic and Oz, they found the underground tunnels that was the perfect temperature for making mushrooms. Because apparently I missed something in the last episode. I apologize, everybody. I missed the part where apparently the mushrooms was the key ingredient to making the bliss, and that was like a whole big thing. And now we're in a position where Oz turned 2 buckets of mushrooms into bajillions, and now they're in the bliss business and they're selling the drugs all over the place. He's doing big things, Vic's doing big things, everybody's making that money. And then even like certain people that are in, because remember they're still in the ghetto, certain people Crown Point that are in Crown Point, they see that Oz is actually doing big things. One particular, that white guy Squid that saw Victor going into the house with Oz's mom, he's been paying attention to everything that's been going on because it's been like weeks and weeks and weeks. But because of the operation, because of everything that they're doing, they're also having like a little bit of issue because obviously Sophia Gigante and Maroni, the two of them have teamed up together, they've clicked up, and they're trying to figure out how to take down Oz. They're all at the Falcone Mansion having a conversation, and they're trying to discuss what their next steps are. And they say to themselves that, well, maybe what we need to do is we need to find some dirt on Oz because we need to get him before he gets too big for his britches. One of the problems that Oz is having, though, although he's making all this money, is that the power in the ghetto is actually going out, and people are actually like freezing to death because it's the wintertime. Even then, because of his business, like the underground business that he's trying to run, they're having power failures. Like his mom is freezing her ass off in the apartment that they're in. And he needs to figure out what to do about that because although he's making all this money, he can't move the operation out of Crown Point just yet. So he has to figure out a way to get the power turned back on. And actually, obviously for the people, because a lot of those people are helping him with what he's doing. So he runs up on a politician, and this one particular politician, he was just like, oh, I paid my debts to the Falcones. He was just like, yeah, but you didn't pay your debts to me. So he said that because they found out that the city was diverting power from Crown Point to the rich neighborhoods. I guess because they figured since the poor neighborhoods were destroyed after the flood and nobody cares, it's like, they don't need power, like they don't need like heat or electricity, and they were siphoning all that to go to the rich neighborhoods. So Oz basically ran up on the politician and told him that if you don't restore power to the ghetto, he's going to take this pair of scissors and shove it up his ass. So the guy was just like, okay, he was like, sorry, Mr. Cobblepie, whatever, he ran off. So now Oz is just like, yo, so 2 down, and he's like 1 to go. But until that happens, like he's still got a lot of things on his mind. Things are still weighing on his head, particularly specifically with his mother. Because of that, Vic now, he's in a situation where the Squid guy, he ran up on him and he was like, look, I want in on the action. He's like, I see that you're making money. I see what you guys are doing and I want in. And then Vic tried to tell him, he was just like, well, that's not a good idea because Oz won't really be too cool about letting people in. And then the guy like kind of pushed Vic around and he was like, yo, if you don't take me to Oz, I'm gonna kick your ass. So then finally Vic got tired of being pushed around, and then when the guy was just like, yo, I'm gonna beat your ass basically if you don't take me to see Oz, Vic turned around and popped him in the neck and Vic killed him. So but before he killed him, Vic actually tried to talk to Oz, and he was just like, hey, listen, I have a problem with somebody, and I think he's going to expose us because Squid also knew that Sophia and Maroni were trying to find him, and he was like, maybe I'll just snitch and collect the reward money. So Vic was basically trying to protect the operation. That's why he killed the guy. But when he tried to go to Oz to tell him what was happening, Oz was like he was in a mental place where like he couldn't hear him because he was too busy worried about his mother. And then when he finally did bring it up, Vic was like, you know what, forget about it. Then Vic popped the guy, so that was that. So then Vic ended up going back to Oz. Oz figured out like, wow, you actually killed somebody. Gave the boy a hug, and he was like, look, he's like, it gets easier, as this goes on, but hey, c'est la vie, welcome to the light. So now the Squid problem is dead, and Vic, he's like crumbling emotionally. So Oz is waiting in the cut, but before he waits in the cut, he decides that he's just like, yo, it's time to do something about it once and for all to protect myself against the Gigantes and from the Maronis. So he gets all the crime bosses in the city together, and he has a summit, which is like the Gold Summit, where he basically tells them, he's like, listen, we all need to come together, pull our resources together so we can take down the Gigantes and we can take down the Maronis. And then obviously there were a couple of people that were just like, oh, like you're the Penguin, like you turn your back on everybody. But he was like, look, he said, I'm offering you a chance to like build something. Because he said, first of all, he said, Sophia doesn't know who you are. He said, Carmine doesn't know who you are. He's like, y'all supposed to be some of the biggest mobsters and some of the biggest gangsters and entrepreneurs in Gotham. He's like, yo, those people don't give a fuck about you. Like, they don't care who you are. Like, you're not even on their radar. He said, but if we pull our resources together, if we come together, we're going to be on everybody's radar and everybody's going to fear us. And he was like, yo, if you want to join me, crack open a beer and raise that son of a bitch high. Everybody raised their glasses. And then I guess now they've decided to pull all their resources together. And now Oz is part of like the biggest mob collaborate in Gotham City. Sophia and Maroni now, they went to his old apartment back in the city trying to find evidence or trying to find things that they could use against him. And then that's when they realized, like, he doesn't have family. He doesn't have anybody he loves. He doesn't have people that he cares about. And they're just like, we can't control him if we can't get any dirt on him. And then Sophia found a letter or a note or a photo from Eve, which was the head hoe, and then she realized that maybe this is somebody that Oz probably has feelings for. So she goes down to, I guess, to the whole stroll, and then she finds Eve. Eve, she knocks on Eve's door. Eve wasn't surprised to see her because it's like, we knew this day would come. The two of them got into a conversation. And then she even said, why would I help you when you're the person who murdered some of my friends? Talking about like some of the hoes that used to work for Carmine. And then that's when Sophia was like, you think I'm the hangman? And then she was just like, well, that's what I was told. And then that's when Sophia told her the truth. And she was like, look, she said, my dad was actually the person who killed your friends, who killed all those women. And your boy Oz helped cover it up to keep me out of business, because if he got me out of the way, he could move up in my father's organization, which is basically what happened. So he was like, he lied to you. He used you as an alibi basically to cover up the misdeeds, because he knew that if you found out that Carmine Falcone killed your friends, you would question him as to why he's still working for him, and he didn't want to leave the organization because he wanted to move up. And then after that, and then she was just like, when I tried to find you, she said, none of your girls gave you up. And she was like, there's a lot of loyalty there. And then she was just like, yeah, I would protect them. I would do anything for those girls, this, that, and the third. And then they kind of had like a feminist moment, where they like, had mutual respect for each other. Sophia decided not to kill her. And then Eve was like, well, if you're looking for Oz, you should probably go down to Crown Point, but don't tell him that I told you that. Then she was like, yo, I got you, bitch, which means she's probably going to tell her. So then finally, after that, so then Sophia, she's on her way down to Crown Point. Oz is still having the summit, with the rest of the gangsters and the mobsters. And while Vic and Oz's mother were in the house that they're in Crown Point, all of a sudden the electricity came on, the power came back on. And then, like his mom got excited. She was like, oh, we have heat again. And then she started dancing. Her and Vic started dancing. They started rejoicing. They said, Oz did it. Oz got the power turned back on. The politician came through. He did his job. And then while the two of them were dancing and celebrating, Sophia Falcone was standing right there in the doorway. And now she's going to kill everybody. That was how the episode ended. And thank you for tuning in. So this is good. This was episode 6. So I don't know if we're getting 10 or 8 episodes. I think we're getting 8. So I think we got about 2 more to go. So, but now basically Sophia's going to kidnap his mom, because Sophia thought his mother was dead. So now she's going to kidnap his mom. She's going to kidnap Vic, and her and Maroni, they're going to use the mother and use Vic probably. This is where we find out how much Oz really cares about Vic, because they're going to try to use the two of them to bring down Oz and take down his business. But that shouldn't work now, because even if you try to do that, the fact that Oz got all the other mobsters on his side, they should now band together to help him against, the Gigantes and against the Maronis. So we'll see what happens. I know they run up on Oz. I saw the coming attraction, so they do run up on Oz, like they beat his ass at some point. But I don't know where this is going to go, because the Penguin's going to get himself out of this somehow, but we don't know how he's going to get out of it. I look forward to it. But share your questions, comments, and concerns, and let's talk about it. Let me know how you think he's going to get his ass out of the fire, and put it in the comments section. Also, check out my other reviews, because I got Superman and Lois up on my channel. I got Tomb Raider, Lara Croft Tomb Raider up on my channel. And I got that Agatha All Along for all you Marvel fans. We're still going strong. I know Cobra Kai is coming, so we're definitely going to review Cobra Kai. And there might be a couple other, and then December, we got Creature Commandos, and we're going to do all that too. So that was it, guys. So thank you for tuning in. As always, for the next time for some more Penguin action, let's get the Penguin's ass out of the frying pan. And until then, we're out this bitch.